What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Open Slate. This is a special episode, probably the most special episode I've done to date because this is the first time I'm having a guest on video ever since I started producing this podcast in a video format. I have Anas with me. Anas, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for calling me. Pleasure being here.
You're one of the first people who've been a fan of this podcast from
Yes.
when I have put it out. So it was only fair to have you on the podcast first. And we've been talking about this for a very long time. And there was a time where I stopped making the podcast completely, so we couldn't, set anything up. But I'm glad to have you here. Tell me how things been.
But it's good. It's good. Things have been good.
Yeah.
Life's going on.
Yeah. So for people who are listening, can you give a little bit of background about yourself and what you do?
I'm Anas Adam. I have a business called Adams. We are into furniture hiring, event management. Basically, event management, but our specialization is furniture hiring.
Got it. And we have seen, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen posters or actually the truck that you guys used to move your things around in. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen it. So a lot of people ask me who the guest is. I'm like, have you heard of the company? And then I'm like, yeah, you might have seen the vehicle around. That time they'll be like, yeah, because I've seen your vehicle around quite a bit in Alsur and that area moving around. So can you just give a brief history of your company, because this is something I found cool. For those of you all who don't know, this company has been around for more than a century.
Yes.
And this is the first company where I know someone who's had a very personal connect with the company, and the first company I know that's been running for more than 100 years.
Yes.
1913
1912, 13,
12,
yeah. Yeah. So basically, it was formed by my great grandfather.
Okay.
And then it's been passed on from generation to generation. I think now it is the currently 5th generation, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
So, and our trucks are, we have to write our name because it serves as advertisement also for us.
Yes, of course.
So we don't have any other means except for social media for advertising.
Yeah.
So on-road advertising is the only option actually.
Yeah, it's a classic strategy
Yeah.
because a lot of people are on the road. Bangalore traffic, the amount of vehicles you see on the road. And how has it been transitioning from, we met in college.
Yes.
You were 2 years senior to me in college.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was in my first year,
Yes.
and I think you were in your third year that time. How has it been transitioning into family business? Because most people after they start after they finish their studies, they sit for placements or they go ahead for their masters or they have different plans. And there are a few people who, what do you say, move into the family business because right now, at least in this generation, there are people who are trying to be entrepreneurs, start their own thing. Very few people are kind of keeping family traditions going. So what was that, how was that switch like for you?
See, so it's been a very funny story for me. I did sit for college placements.
Okay.
Not one, but I think 3 companies or so. I sat, but none of them had accepted me. So then I said, okay, let's try the family business. And once I joined, I'm then liking it, and now I'm here.
Yeah. And it's really nice to see because you're so into it. A lot of most of your posts are about promoting your business, but also about what it's like dealing with clients on a regular basis.
Yes.
How has that been like? I'm pretty sure you'd find it fun, meeting new people, because I think the first time we met, we happened to meet. I don't remember where it was, somewhere near our college stage. I don't know how we met, but it was really fun. I think we hit it off the first time we met. What's it like dealing with new people, meeting new people on a regular basis?
See, meeting new people is tough, but our business is that. It is meeting people, it is convincing people, it is talking to people is our business.
Yeah.
It is tough, but we are managing.
Yeah.
We have to, evolve with the times.
Yeah.
Keep up with the, clients also are very difficult to deal.
Yeah.
We have to be understanding. We have to be patient.
Got it.
So, yeah.
It's fun. But there was one particular thing I spoke to you about over text, and I wanted to cover that. Maybe we'll get into that a little later.
Yes.
But you mentioned social media and what, we just spoke over off record also before we started. Tell me what that's been like, marketing on social media, because now every company has a presence on social media. So what's that been like?
See, I feel Today's age, social media presence is utmost important. If we are not on social media, people think, okay, they're not a business, they're doing time pass in city.
Got it. Yeah.
So, but because of social media, we have gained many customers, no doubt about it. But social media also is one way, but we cannot only rely on social media as a platform of marketing.
Got it. Yeah.
We have to use other ways. We have to use word of mouth. As you said, our trucks we have to use.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Without that, I don't think social media will get us anything without our other forms.
Got it. And for this is a question again I had, because you're a service-based company. Do you so a lot of, since your brand has been around for more than 100 years, do you have customers who keep coming back? Because a lot of times events that happen are mostly weddings and most people get married once, but like, do you have customers? How does your customer pool work? Is it based on referrals? Is it people who keep coming back for like all their events?
It's actually a mix of everything. Okay. Customer retainingship in weddings is zero because obviously that it happens once. But due to referrals, suppose they family weddings, otherwise corporates, they work in a company, corporate referrals.
Got it.
So most of it is based on referrals, no doubt. But it happens, retention is hardly anything because I don't know why, but it goes on.
It goes on, yes. Right? And moving on to, I want to talk about, social media again. Yes. A little post that I'd seen. This is what I wanted to bring up earlier. Yeah. So without mentioning names, because I don't remember the names, but I just remember this vividly.
Yeah.
It is very important when you're dealing with something like this where how many employees do you have, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
I have about 4 employees right now.
Yeah, so when you have a very close-knit small group of employees, I remember you putting up posts saying, don't deal with X and Y person if they're representing the company, because they're no longer working with us. Can we just get an explanation, or can we get a little into why you kind of put out that notice? Because people don't usually do that unless something is wrong.
See, that basically happened because of some certain wrongdoings.
Okay.
So we had to put a stop to it. It had been happening for quite some time, but not coming to our notice.
Got it.
But as soon as we got it, we got proof of the wrongdoings. We had to fire them actually.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was the best way to put a notice, instead of calling all of your customers and be like, don't do this. Like, this is
see
easier.
What happened, we used social media and we used our emails. We had put a footnote on the email saying so and so is not part of the company anymore.
Okay.
So that also helped us. Plus social media also, we had put it on all social media platforms.
Yeah. All right. And speaking of social media, this is something I wanted to get your scoop on, because we always just talk about social media. Just generally, apart from, growing businesses, just as a person using, human psychology, do you think social media overall is a positive or like a negative?
See, that again depends on how you take it, what you post.
Your first instance. Okay, I'll ask you, when I ask you social media, when I mention the word social media, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
Social media, it comes as a social circle.
Yeah.
Firstly.
Yeah.
And the main social media when I think about is Instagram. Because Facebook is a little bit becoming
outdated,
old. Yeah. So as of now, it is Instagram. What people share, what people do, they like putting it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's what comes to my mind actually.
Because as much as I hate social media, I hate the fact that I'm so hooked onto it. Like, most of us are hooked onto it. We spend hours scrolling on reels, and I personally have been wanting to get off of Instagram for a very long time, but I'm doing this podcast and I need a place to promote it, and my podcast page isn't big enough for me to just do self promotions on that, so I have to share it with my main account, and that's probably one of the only reasons I'm keeping that account going. So what do you think about people putting on like a certain image on social media, and they're completely different when you kind of speak to them in person?
See, that though happens most of the times. 96% of the people portray differently on social media in real life. I don't know why. Maybe they want like a social acceptance or some kind of validation. I don't know. But I have seen that is the case with most of the people.
Yeah. And Does it annoy you? I personally find very annoying, because there are people who will be like, oh, I'm helping these people out on the internet, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But sometimes, I don't know, you end up like, when you personally know certain people, they end up having like very bad characters, very bad personality traits. So I feel like it's so easy to fake things on social media, and that's one of the reasons I hate it. What do you think about people putting on a front on social media?
See, that is, I think, because they want some kind of validation.
Yeah,
Saying if I'm enjoying on social media, that means I am enjoying in real life.
yeah.
But that is almost 99% of the times it is the reverse case.
Yes, and because I've personally seen a lot of friends and people who I know on social media, they're always partying, going on vacations,
Yes.
having fun. But when you speak to them in person, they are so miserable. They're not happy with how life is going. They're just unhappy with like a lot of things.
Absolutely.
That also seems to be pretty dangerous, don't you think?
See, I personally don't like sharing my personal life on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I use it for general posts and maybe business promotions.
Promotions and all of that. Right?
Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan to post things, personal life on social media.
Yeah, because a lot of people do that, and I think it's pretty dangerous.
See, I've always believed a perfect life, a happy life is a private life.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think I wouldn't argue with that. I definitely wouldn't argue with that, because a lot of people, they try to be happy, but for them, somehow, once they start posting on social media, I feel like for them, their happiness is based on what other people tell them.
True, absolutely.
Because of the reaction features on social media, the reply, likes, comments, all of shares, all those things, they just get so caught up with numbers, they kind of tie that to being happy, right? I have a question. This is something I spoke about last time on one of my solo episodes about hustle culture and how people end up what do you say, glorifying overworking, right? Do you think this is, I mean, I drew like a thing and I said there are usually two types of people. Some people, their goal in life, their main goal in life is to be successful, and the other person's goal in life is just to be happy with like whatever they have. They focus more on their happiness than their success, because that's what brings them peace in their mind. What do you think?
That would again depend on person to person. I personally would prefer to be happy instead of being successful, but I would like to be successful and happy at the same time.
Yeah.
But today's corporate culture is such that you work for so many hours, you're a good employee.
Yeah.
Or you don't come to office. Yeah. You rarely come to office.
Yeah.
So that based on that, they judge that, saying, okay, you're a good employee, you're a bad employee.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
so that is the culture which is existing today, actually.
Yeah. Because I think, again, everything, if you look at everything that's happening right now, is based on numbers.
Correct.
And statistics. So there is a numeric that looks at, it sometimes doesn't always show how hard you're working. It just shows how you're working or how long you're working for, and that is the only thing that's taken into consideration. And speaking of how long you're working for, what's it been like, working with a family business? Do you have like free time because you work on your own schedule? What's your schedule like?
No, it's not like that. My schedule again depends on work. If you have more work, I'll be more hours in the office.
Okay.
Even if not in the office, I'll be on sites. Sometimes during season, I'll be working full night.
Okay.
So it depends on season to season, because I don't have any fixed time.
So
I can take a leave maybe on a Sunday, or if I'm working on a Sunday, I don't even take a leave.
Got it.
So that's pretty much. It depends on work, basically.
Yeah. But you're enjoying your work, so it's
it's very important to enjoy what we do.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, that also is another thing when it comes to happiness, right? If you're not enjoying what you're doing, you end up, even if you're good at it, you end up being miserable, and that happiness is not there. You're doing it just because you have to do it. And
but sometimes it also gets on my nerves.
Yeah,
because too much work is also too much work.
Yeah.
But we can't help it.
Yeah, and not everyone, like nobody in this world
because
has
ours is a service
patience.
Industry, and it's a seasonal based work.
Yeah.
So
what do you say? Working, like, patience is something that everyone runs out of eventually. So there's no one who has all the patience in the world, because I told you I don't have the patience to edit. That's why I never got on video for the longest time. So I was having a conversation with one of my friends very recently, and we were talking about how technology is, especially with like the emergence of artificial intelligence, technology is kind of taking over, and most things might be replaced by machines within the next 50 years, except for maybe very skill based things. Like, I'm pretty sure if you taught a machine how to perform an open heart surgery, that would be more accurate than a human being doing it, because there are other psychological factors that go into it. Machines don't think. But where do you think this whole thing is going with technology? Do you think technology is going to have a huge impact in the field that you work in?
See, our field is labor based. It is very human intensive based. Technology can't understand what human beings are able to do or how they are able to work. And there has to be a certain amount of independence, as in we can't lead our full life saying technology will come, technology will do this, technology will do that. There has to be human thinking, human intelligence. Not only in my line, in I think most of the businesses, there has to be human intervention, human thinking.
Because we were having a conversation about this, and we just made a list of what do you say, roles or designations that I don't think humans can be replaced when you're working in that. So we're thinking about all these corporate positions, what companies do, right? Like engineers, I think over time you can be replaced with artificial intelligence. Doctors, I think, can be. Maybe, like you said, where it's service based and it requires labor is where I don't think you can replace it. So I have to add like event management and anything labor related onto that list. Psychologists, I don't think can be replaced also, because therapists, they have a certain level of empathy.
Therapists have to understand human empathy.
Exactly. So they need to have empathy. So I don't think whatever you do, a machine can't replicate human empathy, because already there are lots of these online AI therapists, which I don't think is a good idea, because you need to have that human connection. Another thing I was thinking about was HR. That was the field I was working in. Like that is this human connection you have. So especially the recruitment part. So the administration thing in an office, I don't think can be completely replaced by AI.
No, but again, if you look at the big picture, AI will even turn out to be more expensive than human labor.
Yeah, maybe initially, right? Because the money that goes into research and the cost to like kind of produce AI is
much expensive.
Much more expensive than, because we already have the framework for everything. You pay a guy like 50,000 a month to do his job, he'll do it. But like to get an AI to do that, you have to spend like lakhs or crores. Maybe once it is developed,
and programming the robot.
Programming, and you have to take so many things into consideration. It's probably difficult, but maybe over time, just looking at how things are, because I honestly got scared when they said people can do therapy talking to AI now, because that's scary. Because if they found a way to replicate human emotions and like empathy, then that's like very scary. Because there's a movie called Megan. Have you watched it?
Movie called
Megan?
No.
It's basically a girl gets a toy robot. Her aunt is working on like a prototype, whatever, and that highlights the dangers of what would happen if AI took over, or robots, or this technology took over. So
that's a must-watch movie then.
Yeah, that is a must-watch movie. You can watch it on Prime. It's not sponsored. But I think it's a little scary where it's going. Don't you think?
Yeah, but we have to be careful. We have to choose our level of thinking. We have to choose our where we are heading in future. That is our choice. We have to be careful. We have to choose. So
and even another thing that ties to this, after you said we have to be careful, something I remembered is kids having access to technology at like a very young age, right? It's so easy. You see so many people, you hear so many stories of people faking their identity to like get, like kidnappers or pedophiles, whatever it is online. What do you think about giving, like, okay, if all of us have to have kids at one point, would you give, like, at what age do you think it's safe to give a child like a phone or their own phone for them to have freedom on the internet?
See, giving phones is okay. They play game. Nowadays children, they are into games and all this. But you say social media freedom. That should be regulated. In fact, I'll tell you, generations, it's different. Like, we cannot raise our children like how our parents raised us.
No way, definitely not.
So because of generation gap, we have to take it step by step, take it slowly. social media freedom can be given when a child matures. When we say maturity, 15 years, 16 years, that is the, the rough age group where children mature. So it's difficult. We cannot directly hand over phones
Definitely
or
not.
hand over devices or give social media to children. We can do in moderation.
I was thinking about this company should implement, like you said, they should implement something where it's you have to go through like a step by step thing to make an account on social media. And I think the best thing is now, since you can scan everything on your phone, every time someone has to make an account on social media, they should upload some sort of ID proof showing that they're of a certain age, or at least showing their age. So if just say our Aadhaar card is there, right? Everyone has like some document that shows their not even address proof. You just need ID proof to show how old they are. Do you think that would be a good thing to implement? If you can scan that, you have AI to go through all of that.
See, it makes sense because we can vote for the future of the country after 18 years. So why not social media? That is a very good idea. Maybe we can make it, social media companies can make a rule saying if you are above 18, you can just join the the social media. Yes.
I mean, I think that's like the most effective thing. And I personally think a lot of dangerous things can just be stopped if you start following such rules and regulations.
Nowadays I see children 5 years, 6 years, they have profiles on social media and it says managed by the parents. I don't know how it is sensible, why it is sensible.
Funnier than that, I think, is people having accounts for their pets.
Yes, that is also there.
They'll be there. It's like basically just a second account for people who have pets. They'll be like managed by mommy, and then they put the mother's Instagram, I mean the owner's Instagram tag or handle. But I don't know, sometimes when I look at certain things on social media, like I try not to judge, but some things are just very hard to like not judge. Like I have this concept of live and let live, but like there's some things that I don't think are I don't know, it's just very hard to wrap my head around.
And it's very addictive.
Yes.
Very, very addictive. One of the only disadvantage of social media is it is very addictive.
Definitely.
You can sit hours and hours together without having notice of time.
Seriously.
Hours go by on social media.
Scrolling.
Yes.
Yeah. Because some days, like, this is a problem. I think, I don't know whether you have this problem, because you seem like someone who has a lot of discipline and structure, but sometimes I wake up in the morning. I use Instagram to message people a lot, right? So that's like sometimes the only way I keep contact with people, because some weird people don't have WhatsApp at all. They don't use WhatsApp, but they use Instagram. So that's how I keep in touch with them. So I end up waking up in the morning to reply to them, and then I just end up starting to, I just start scrolling, and before I know it, 45 minutes, 1 hour is done.
I do the same.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just so addictive because you just have to flick your thumb once, you get up to a minute.
But when I get up in the morning, there are a lot of more than 100, 200 messages on my phone. So I have to see what is important. Should I reply? Should I not reply? Reply can be done little later.
Yes, I think that's
in filtering only. It is nearly more than 45 minutes.
Then you have to sit and manually reply to everyone. Plus, you'll obviously
because I have a lot of groups also. So groups itself nearly 45, 50 messages.
Yeah, exactly. And there'll be so much. There's so many so much of media and spams that come from those groups. But in a way, I think, everything being said and done, just thinking about the people who we're in touch with, that's probably the only benefit to social media. Because I think I don't know which part of me is talking, but I don't like how addicted I am to social media. But one thing is, you go to different cities, you travel a lot, you come in contact with a lot of fun people. Social media is there. There are so many people who I've met on different trips and all that I'm still in touch with only because of social media. And I think that's the only benefit according to me. Maybe I judge the social media seen too much, but
yeah, that is one of the advantage. You can keep in touch even if you are in different countries, different continents. Even if you don't have numbers, that is the one way and the only way. Social media is the only way to keep in touch. If you don't have the contacts.
So I spoke to very little about this before we started. COVID obviously had a lot of impact in everyone's lives personally, and since you run a business of your own, what has it been like on the business front? Because like many times you said earlier, your business is very, people oriented, and you need to have a lot of contact with people. So what has that been like?
See, COVID has been tough, no doubt about it. Even business wise, personal wise, in every aspect of life as such, COVID has been difficult. But now, if we look back at COVID, we think, okay, it's just a phase, it's a bad phase, it passed. But when we see business wise during COVID, what happened is people were scared. First and foremost is people were scared. Because of that, our business had got a huge hit, only because people were scared. But we can't predict. See, it's a disease. We can't say, okay, don't be scared, you have your functions, you do whatever you want. No? So that is the reason it was hit. But another advantage COVID taught us is to keep gatherings small. Today's weddings or even social gatherings, 500 people, 600 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people. It goes and goes and goes. COVID taught us, keep it small, keep your close family, keep it intimate, finish. Weddings have happened. I have organized a wedding in COVID, 20 people. That's it.
It's close friends and family.
Close it, finish the wedding.
And what was it like, you said, in terms of dealing with like the cops and authorities when you had to have that wedding? Was there any extra things or any extra permissions you had to get?
No, basically the permission for the weddings was needed. Even if you're having a small wedding or a big wedding or a big gathering, there were some health-wise permissions like wearing masks, keeping sanitizers, plus police permission to allow vehicles to pass. So that permission was sufficient for us to organize the wedding.
And was there a curfew at that time?
There was a curfew.
Right?
Yes.
It was
there was a lockdown, in fact, not even a curfew.
Okay.
Complete lockdown.
Wait, so during the lockdown you had events? Okay.
Yes. Not events as events.
Events, but gatherings.
Small, because people, they started, I think it was about 2 years. COVID went on for about 2 years. Starting phase was difficult. Nobody had anything. But they slowly started saying, let's get married, we'll save money. Let's get married, we'll save money. So it started, and that was a trend continuing for nearly about 2 years. But now if you tell people get married with 20-25 people, they say, oh, what
is wrong with you? My
what
friends and family itself include 100 people.
Itself 100 people, exactly. So that's how it is.
And I remember after we attended some wedding during COVID, I told my mom, if I'm getting married, I only want close friends and family there, because it's so much nicer. Because even weddings, it's like you'll call people who you've never met before. They'll come eat food, they'll shake your hand, then they'll just forget about it. During COVID, another thing, people gave a lot of emphasis on was mental health. I personally, that's when I realized how bad it was and like how negligent I was towards it. And this is also something I've spoken about a lot. A lot of people give physical health importance and they just stop at that. They don't realize that, mentally there are things that you should and shouldn't do in order to like not just keep your peace of mind, but just to function as a normal human being. What's like your stance on mental health, and what do you do to kind of log out once a while just to keep your sanity and peace of mind?
See, it's not only during COVID. Mental health should be our priority at all times. Not only COVID. And when it comes to mental health, nowadays people are dying by suicide. Why? Because they are not concentrating on their mental health.
Or they realize only when it's too late.
Once in a while it's important to take a break, refresh, restart. Like a machine, if it doesn't work, we factory reset. Humans also need factory reset.
Seriously, factory resetting,
not
servicing
once a year, twice a year, at least once in a while, maybe once in 6 months. So
maybe even more, once every 3-4 months, just log out, like how you log out of social media, just log out for a couple
log
of
in back again.
Exactly, couple of days, that's all. Doesn't take more.
And that is very, very important.
Exactly, that is that is something very important.
We can't focus on work and say, okay, work is there, keep working all the time. It is always very, very important.
And how do you personally do? Because again, like I said on a previous episode, there's two types of people. So there's again being happy and like being successful, right? So most people who just work, who are like workaholics, quote unquote, for them their first priority is to get work done. Then if they have time, they take care of, you know, the relationships, people around them, their other personal health also. What thing do you follow? Do you like try making a balance, or do you try getting work done?
You know, it's probably a mix of both.
Yeah.
Balance and work.
Yeah.
Work life balance. It's
Yeah.
probably a mix of both.
Yeah, some people don't have, for them it's just work balance. They don't have.
But that's not the
this
right thing to do.
Yeah,
Working.
Yeah. You know, they take pride in the fact that they work 12, 15, 16 hours a day.
It spoils both your physical health and mental health, actually, in the long run, if you look at it.
Exactly. Because I go to therapy once a while just to, even if there's nothing happening, you just go chill over there, speak your mind freely. And this is something my therapist said. She said you can't be physically healthy if you're not mentally healthy, and vice versa. And people don't realize until it, like I said, until it gets very bad, then it's like they just start spiraling into such a bad, like they just go into such a bad headspace, and it's hard for them to get out. And then, you know, just like dominoes, it becomes one after the other. It just becomes like a chain effect, and then things get bad.
See, we have to learn to love ourselves before we can love another.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, you need a lot of love in this world. Just looking at how things are things are going on in this world, it's just something that's very required. And it's not just, I feel like that phrase has become so misused. Like people just say I love you means yeah, okay, done. But like people have to honestly mean when they say it, and you can't throw it around.
Absolutely.
Alright guys, so that is gonna wrap up our first ever guest episode on video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Anas, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for all your support you showed. It was great having you on. I'll definitely call you in once again once I have this whole thing structured. Thank you so much guys. Thank you for tuning in. You can check out his business and his socials. I'll link it down below.
Thank you.
That's going to be it. My name is Adil. This is the Open Slate, and until next time.